Do you ever wonder if you're watching sports and if the rules really are going by what they say they are? Because sports regulations nowadays are very conserved and many people do not know what actually goes on when watching sports. What I've learned is that many rules are very biased and they don't let athletes reach their maximum capability that they could be reaching while performing or playing. Looking deep into sports nowadays, rules and fairness is also not taken as seriously as it should be. There are many rules that people don't know about that they should know about because thinking on why does this matter? It really matters because some sports you might be even playing might not have fair rules and you might not know. And also, many people do put a lot of money onto sports and a lot of betting onto sports. And the cheating that goes on throughout the sports could affect the betting without the people who are betting even knowing what's really going on. One of the main sports that is really unfair when it comes to rules is ice skating. According to Pop Sugar, an article explains that there are many different illegal figure skating moves, and Olympic athletes get disqualified for doing amazing flips on the ice. I feel like this is very unfair because the ice skater was very unaware that these rules were in place, so she obviously got disqualified and didn't even know why she was getting disqualified. B/R, an article also explains how many other sports are like this as well. Also, according to the article by B/R, a huge issue that goes on in sports is players using enhancing drugs that are very illegal that the sports team doesn't know about. There is no drug testing in baseball, but there's drug testing in every other sport, which a lot of people also don't know about. So that leads to a very unfair chance when it comes to baseball. And I feel as if this is a very bad sports regulation that needs to be stopped because it lets people become stronger faster and become much better at their sport. And the people that they're playing against each other don't know if they're on drugs or not. So this is just a terrible regulation that needs to be considered because it is a huge issue that goes on throughout every sport and it needs to be stopped. I feel like this is a very well-known issue and it's women's discrimination in sports. According to the article Pop Sugar, Why Women Need to Be More Considered When It Comes to Sports, there is a lot of racial discrimination, and women's sports are also rarely televised on television compared to men's sports. This isn't just enough or talked about enough in the community, the article says, and it can maybe affect a lot of people's ability to play sports because women are amazing at sports and many people don't realize this because it's not talked about enough. So if it was talked about enough, then it would be more televised and women would be making more money as well as getting better at what they do. The Cornell Law School also creates an article about sports regulations, and they are smaller ones, but they still have an extreme effect on athletes. So, a big one that I thought was very not right is that cheerleaders are not allowed to eat in their uniforms. This can cause body dysphoria as well as it's a terrible rule because they might pass out if they're not eating or drinking enough water or something like that. Another rule is that a lot of sports don't let players use their inhalers on the sidelines, which is terrible because many players might need an inhaler to play, to breathe, and you need good breathing skills while you're playing sports. You're running, you're being active. So these rules are just not fair when it comes to athletes' capability. Another big controversial regulation that a lot of people talk about is timeouts in the NBA. NBA players are allowed to have timeouts right before the game ends, and this could cause players to talk about strategies, whereas they should just, most fair way to play, in my opinion and in many other people's opinion, is just to play till the game ends quick, like work on making those quick moves, as well as soccer timeouts and soccer clocks. The players aren't able to see a clock while they're playing, so they don't know how much time is left while they're playing, which leads to an advantage when knowing when to score and that type of thing. Overall, in my opinion, I think sports regulations really need to be more looked upon and really need to be more regulated because a lot of these athletes aren't treated correctly. They're not allowed to have the medical attention they may need. And also, the biggest one, in my opinion, is the drugs. Like, this can be very harmful to an athlete and very unfair to other people who are playing the game and also not on drugs. And it can also really affect their health in the long run. But overall, I think that these regulations do need to be more looked upon because it may be stopping players from reaching their maximum capability that they should be able to because they obviously have a talent. They're obviously playing professional sports for a reason, but they shouldn't be able to make these stupid rules and take these drugs and do all of that type of thing if they really have that talent. So, in conclusion, I feel as if these sports need to be more looked upon and they need to be looked deeper into to get the best outcome that sports can have. Thank you.